As I mentioned, we have representatives from the three organizations here. One of the things that sets Eden Prairie apart is community involvement. So as you hear about the things that are going on in the business community, the schools, and the city, we always encourage our members to take part, and that could be serving on one of our chamber committees, volunteering with the schools, or perhaps serving on one of the city's commissions. Additionally, please be sure to meet someone new today. We have, as I mentioned, a great cross-section of Eden Prairie with us. If you have not introduced yourself to the individuals at your table, please feel free to do so and exchange business cards. I would like to recognize our chamber board members that were able to join us today. And if I could have them either give a wave or a stand up when I call your name. Josh Swanson, who will be speaking shortly, Eden Prairie School Superintendent. Brian Hennon with C.H. Robinson, Steve Succo with Life Touch, and I know you brought Rex Buxton with Life Touch as well, so thank you, Rex, for joining us. Michael Scholl from Starkey Hearing Technologies, and Alan Wallner, our past board chair from W Creative. Thank you all for being here. We also want to thank and recognize some of our elected officials that were able to join us. Hennepin County Commissioner and Chamber Member Jan Callison. Welcome, Jan. State Representative and Chamber Member Jennifer Lewin. And State Senator, and recently joined as a member of the Chamber, Senator Steve Swedzinski. Welcome and thank you for joining us today. Today's program is designed to give you a chance to hear about the three organizations and an overall view of Eden Prairie. Before we get to the formal program, I do have some quick announcements for you. As you entered, you may have picked up the Minnesota Chamber Federation Priorities handout. As you know, this will be an election year. Our state legislature will be coming into session next month. Each year, our chamber has been a member of the Federation, which represents roughly 50 local chambers of commerce across the state of Minnesota. And we focus on key priorities and work hand in hand with the Minnesota Chamber of Commerce. I'm not going to go into all the details of those priorities, but just a quick overview. This year, those priorities include full dedication of transportation revenues, and the purpose of this is to support investment in our transportation system. We want to strengthen medical procedure price transparency laws. Current laws do require our healthcare providers to disclose the cost of medical procedures, but as our consumers get more and more involved in making decisions, we need to be able to provide them that information in a timely manner. As a side note, I've reached out to our major health providers. They support this. They're already doing this, so this isn't something new to them. And then enhance Minnesota tax competitiveness. The last time major federal reforms took place was in 1986, and Minnesota followed suit in 1987 with a major tax reform and tax reductions. As you know, Congress recently passed major federal reforms last month, and Minnesota will have the opportunity to address one of the major issues our businesses face, and that is the third highest corporate and individual tax rates in the nation. And then the last one, which is definitely not the least one, and that is consistent statewide tax laws. You'll hear the word preemption used a lot. What this really boils down to is, you're probably aware of Minneapolis and St. Paul passing their own local ordinances and mandates on businesses. It's developing a patchwork of rules and regulations that businesses struggle to come into compliance with. It also will impact our businesses when it comes to hiring and being competitive in keeping and retaining employees. So you'll be hearing more about those issues in future communications. We also have our February 7th program with Doug Loon, who is the president of the Minnesota Chamber of Commerce, coming to join us and talk about the legislative session as well. Some quick reminders: our first Women's Network Luncheon is this Tuesday, January 23rd. Our next Business at Breakfast program is Wednesday, January 24th, and that is our guest program, so you'll see about 60 of our business people there. And then the final program I want to highlight is the third annual Twin Cities Young Professional Summit. that our chamber started 2 years ago. It averages 200 young professionals from our region and other states. This year's theme is Today's Leaders and Tomorrow's Champions. It'll be held on Friday, April 13th, and our keynote speaker that we recently announced is Mike Beck, the co-owner of the St. Paul Saints. So we hope you can join us for that. Last shout out, Roberta Fernandez with Fair Hypnosis. Thank you for being our greeter today. Hopefully everybody had a chance to visit with Roberta. All right, I'm going to move into the PowerPoint presentation. And from the chamber perspective, I'm going to walk through a few items, talk about our business survey that we just wrapped up, and hit on some things for 2018. As you see, our mission is Leaders for Community Prosperity and Advocates for Business, and I'll highlight a number of different ways that we do that in coming slides. Our chamber overview, we have a little over 400 members. Those members represent over 32,000 area employees. We have 85 volunteers that serve on committees, and programs like this throughout the year that we put on bring together over 6,000 individuals. So you'll see we have 3 key strategic goals that our board of directors put together in our strategic planning over the past few years. The first one, strengthen the organization, ensure growth through bold leadership. One of the key things I'm going to highlight, and I'm not going to highlight everything that we do for each strategic goal, but the Twin Cities Young Professionals Summit is one of those opportunities. There's nothing like it in the Twin Cities. As I mentioned, we have 200 individuals that come together each year for this. We have people from North Dakota, South Dakota, Iowa, Wisconsin, and obviously the Twin Cities region. We have 10 other partner chambers that help promote this and spread the word. This year's event, we plan to come close to selling out at 300 in attendance, and registration will be opening in the coming days. The other piece we like to do, and this is the Career Expo that we work with the high school on. We've done this for 4 years now. This past year, we had 50 businesses in attendance. The businesses are there to help our students identify career paths and ways that once they graduate high school, what are they going to do with themselves, so to speak. Businesses see this as an opportunity. We continue to hear from our business community that they struggle to find employees to the point that they need to be reaching further back to even build pipelines. And the Career Expo is a chance to do that. This year we had nearly 800 of the high school students participate and come through the doors to visit those businesses. And in 2018 we are expanding with some new opportunities that we are ironing out, but we'll be announcing in the coming months. Our strategic goal 2 talks about advocacy, and I mentioned our top priorities. I think one of the key things that we were happy with is the success at the legislature last year on a number of our business issues, from taxes, transportation funding, healthcare with the small business assistance that came through, ADA lawsuit reform, and then Real ID. All were successes for us. As I mentioned, the preemption is a key one for us. That did pass the legislature. The governor vetoed it. We are hopefully optimistic that maybe that'll change this year, that maybe members on the Democratic side of the table can help us get that completed and alleviate that issue for our businesses. Some key things to note and why this is important. As much as our economy is doing well, and I'll highlight on some of those things, Minnesota is below the national average in GDP growth and in personal income growth. We're better in the unemployment rates, which is great. On the flip side, and I'll talk about that in a few slides here, is the ability to find workers. We're the 3rd best in labor participation rate. We're at 70.1%, which is great as well. However, the Twin Cities region's GDP was at 0.8%, which is ranking 222nd nationally. So you'll see on this slide we have a number of photos from programs that we put together. So you will see this again, it's an election year. Our organization, as part of our planning process, is going to again hold forums. This year we are endorsing at multiple levels. Our chamber has endorsed political candidates previously at the federal level. We are in discussions on how we're going to handle that with the state and at the local level with a mayor's race and a city council's race. We rely heavily on our volunteers to help us with that. So if you're interested in serving, please stop by and see me after the presentation. So the last strategic goal is making sure Eden Prairie is prosperous, and I think this ties into all three of our organizations. We want to make sure Eden Prairie not only is a great community for business today, but into the future. One of the things that we have highlighted and done differently this past year is put together a visitor's guide. That visitor's guide helps promote our area businesses, specifically with the Ryder Cup and now with the Super Bowl, getting the word out to those people coming to town, trying to capture those dollars here locally. In terms of prosperity, and I know Rick's going to touch on this, if you've not heard about the Shields expansion, and it is an expansion, no doubt about it, it is a major achievement for our community. As Sears left the center, Shields put together their plan to expand and open one of their signature stores. This store will be nearly 250,000 square feet. And as they've talked about, their circle of radius of circle that for their customers is 150 miles. So this will be a destination opportunity for Eden Prairie. It is one that all of us are very excited to see to come to fruition. So getting into our annual survey results, we talk about the impact in learning from our members, how they did this past year and what their issues are. Net income compared to their 2006 numbers, very positive, as you can see from the chart. As I advance the slide, sorry. Now, as you can see from the chart, the top says down more than 10%, and down here we have up over 10%. So if you're in the back and can't quite read that, these are very positive numbers, and probably one of the big things that goes hand in hand with that is number of employees. You'll see, again, more growth than people losing employees, which is awesome. As we get further along, expected sales. None of our members responded that they were expecting sales to decline, which I think is the first time we've seen that in the past 5-6 years of doing this survey. Over 30% expect a 10% growth in sales. So all very positive, all great signs that our community is doing very well. Employment numbers, again, no one's looking to reduce employee counts. Again, I think this may be the first time we've seen that in any of our surveys. So all positive signs. So one of the questions gets to, are you able to find quality employees? And if you take out the not applicable answers, 55% of our respondents say that they do have issues finding employees. It's even higher if you go by a statewide number. Some of the key areas that they're trying to fill that having struggles, and these were highlighted by specific answers. Healthcare, nurses and dental assistants are an issue. Sales, we had a lot of comments on people not being able to find salespeople. Bookkeeping and accountants, this continues to be an issue. Again, we'd love to fill those pipelines by getting our students more involved in these areas. And in construction and trades, very high in terms of the responses we got that this is a major issue for our area businesses. Now, I love this photo, and I'm going to say right away, if you know the restaurant I took this picture from, they did not respond to our questionnaire, so don't tie any of the things I'm about to say back to them. But this kind of ties to what we hear from our businesses, and it's not just our businesses, but I was part of a Minnesota Chamber program yesterday here in Eden Prairie with a lot of our businesses in attendance. Issues like soft people skills, people wanting to work. One of the comments we had was, we'll treat customers with respect. The comments we heard yesterday with the Minnesota Chamber program was, businesses have had to lower their standards to fill positions. And so when we see signs like hiring smiling faces, what that really means is with the low unemployment rate and the need for businesses, and as I highlighted in previous slide, more employment to come, we are at a point of how do we find people that can fill those positions and do so in such a way. Many of our businesses say it's no longer skills, it's the person. If we can have somebody that wants to work, has the personality, we'll train them on everything we need to know. And so we're seeing that more and more. In terms of the economy, overwhelmingly, people feel that it is on the right track. One of the comments here as a side note was the talk of, is there a recession on the horizon? But overall, everybody seems to be very optimistic. The number one issue that is impacting businesses, probably no surprise, the educated workforce and finding employees is at 40%. And then the next closest one in terms of our respondents, which is 20%, so half the educated workforce is government regulations. Expansion at current facilities, not all of our members are in a position to expand, but 25% have indicated that they will. It probably ties very well to the businesses looking to expand their employee counts. So overall, I would say the outlook is very optimistic. We expect revenue to increase with our businesses. Very low number of people talking about reduction in employees. We had 0 this time. Large number looking to increase, but hand in hand is the problem of finding employees. So looking ahead into 2018, just to highlight a few things to note, mentioned Shields expansion, that will start in February. You'll see that activity happening at the old Sears location. From the Chamber side, our major events coming up, our Home Landscape and Garden Expo is on March 17th. We draw between 1,500 and 2,000 area residents from the Southwest Metro to come to Eden Prairie for that show. Our annual golf tournament's June 4th. The Young Professionals is on April 13th. And then our Business at Breakfast, which is a key program for us. Most of our members are small businesses looking for networking opportunities. Luncheons are a good way to do that, but our primary opportunity really relies with our Business at Breakfast programs. Business roundtables are kicking off this year for peer-to-peer opportunities. The beer luncheon, this is the Bloomington, Eden Prairie, Edina program in Ridgefield Chambers. March 16th, we have former Governor Tim Pawlenty, who will be speaking on the future of work in the fourth industrial revolution. And then I'd be remiss, 2019 is the Chamber's 50th birthday. I know I don't look my age, but that's a pretty accurate number. So we'll have a lot of information on things that we're going to do in the new year to celebrate that milestone. And then I'd also be remiss if I didn't talk about the Vikings. And we celebrated a luncheon ourselves at Winter Park. We're part of the October Vikings program to thank them for being here as they get ready to move to their new facility. The upper right corner, love this photo because this is Adam Thielen before he was a Pro Bowler and the talk of the town. This is at a chamber luncheon about 3 years ago where he was meeting our members and signing autographs. And so as kind of wrap things up here, this is for my friend Rick Getchow, who every year likes to mention that he's from Wisconsin and a proud Packer fan, which he should be. Yeah. Packers are a great organization, but wanted to highlight our fun win this past weekend. If you did not take a look at some of the information at the commuter services, there is some notes on what's going to happen with the Super Bowl, especially with the Vikings playing in it in a few short weeks. There'll be some road closures and things to know about, so if you are close to that Viking Drive, Washington Avenue, please stop by there. We'll be sending some additional information out. I have a copy of one of the letters from Eden Prairie Police. That copy's at our desk or a registration table, so take a look at that. As I mentioned, Rick is a Packer fan. I'm not sure if there's still room on the bandwagon, but I do have some Viking socks for you to help you out with getting ready for the game. But I also know that Rick is supportive of our Vikings. We're very proud of their success and being part of our community. The last item I do want to highlight, and it's our partnership with the Eden Prairie School District. Some of you know this, some of you may not. This is our 12th year of having our student membership program with them. I think we have at least 4 student members here today. I'm going to have them stand and be recognized. This is one of our efforts to help our students find access and career pathways and make connections with our businesses. The students did a great job. None of them are seated together, so they follow direction very well. But we want to see them come back and be leaders within our community, have jobs here, be the ones that help build the future for our community and our businesses as well. So with that, I'm going to turn things over to our superintendent, Josh Swanson, and I know we got to swap out presentation. So
we'll do that on the fly.
All right.
So first off, thank you, Pat. And I know that he said that we'd be around for questions, but truly, if you want to learn a lot, talk to these 4 students at the end of the presentation as well. It's an amazing opportunity that they're taking advantage of, and there's some pretty fun, compelling stories to hear about how Eden Prairie Schools is preparing them for the future, but also how the partnerships that we have between the city and our business community and chamber are helping as well. And so Jacqueline's going to get the presentation up, but I'm going to go ahead and just get started here. First off, thank you to the Chamber for the opportunity to talk about our great school district today. We have some amazing things going on as I talk about the state of the district. I'm new to the superintendency here in Eden Prairie this year. This is my first year serving as superintendent, although I'm not new to the district. I'm actually entering into my 6th year in the district. I was previously serving as the assistant superintendent. I feel absolutely honored and fortunate to serve the community in this role, our students and our staff and our families. It is an absolutely amazing place to be. And the reason for that is lots of fold. It's a great community. There's great partnerships. There's great work together. We have a great board that helps in that work. They push us. They hold us accountable. But they also collaborate with us as a district team. And they keep students at their heart in all of their decision making. And so I want to take a moment to introduce them as well. We have Elaine Larrabee, who is serving as our chair for the board. We have Dave Espy, please stand, our vice chair. We have Holly Link, who's currently serving as our treasurer. We have Adam Seidel, a graduate, who is serving as our clerk. We have Terry Swaro, who just joined the board, also a graduate. And we have Greg Lehman, also serving as a director with Terry. And so thank you to the board members for all of your work and your commitment to our mission and our pledge. So I also have the fortune to work with an absolutely amazing cabinet team that's just full of talent. We actually spent the other day with our mid-year retreat talking about our strategic direction and our work and how we can really optimize our work for the benefit of students. And I want to take a moment to introduce them. First, I have Jacqueline Swords, who's our Director of Communication and Community Relations behind me here helping today. I have Dr. Shawn Hoffman-Bram, if she can stand up. She heads our community education, our early childhood education, has done an absolutely phenomenal job about increasing access and reducing barriers for our earliest learners as we prepare them for their educational environment. We have Tom May, who's our Executive Director of Human Resources. Michelle Ament, who heads up our Personalized Learning Department, is the Senior Director of Personalized Learning. Jason Munzenberger, who keeps us financially sound, our Executive Director of Business Services. He also takes care of all of the different operational things that have to take place in a district as we serve almost 9,000 students, and we have tens of thousands of people in and out of our buildings in our district on a daily basis. And finally, we have Dr. Christina Bemboom, who joined us this year as the Senior Director of Student Support Services. And so thank you to the team and to all the work that you do on behalf of students and community. It's fun to be here today because we do have such a great partnership with both the city and the chamber. I've really enjoyed serving on the board for the chamber. Rick and I have breakfast or coffee every so often and continue to talk about how we can continue to work, and the city and the school district work so closely together as well. It's part of what makes this place great. And so to start the state of the district, I will tell you the state of the district is good. This year, we started the year on a really high note. Last year, annually, we run a parent survey to get a pulse through a statistically valid and reliable survey so we can compare to year how we're doing in the eyes of parents. And I want to share those results with you, which have never been so high. We have a 99% quality teacher performance rating from our parents who allow us to serve their students on a daily basis. A 98% quality education rating. A 95% satisfaction rate of doing a good job of engaging parents. We have 96% of our parents who have a high level of trust in Eden Prairie schools to do what's right for children. We have a 95% quality communication rating and a 92% satisfaction rating in decision-making processes. And for those of you from the community who have watched over the last couple years, we've been engaged in a pretty big process around designing pathways where we've been looking at what some of the future things do, and go figure, not everybody always agrees. And so for people that have a high level of satisfaction with decision-making processes, when you're going through those kinds of, those big decision-making processes is good. So I will tell you, as a first-year superintendent, this is a little scary. I don't know where this is gonna go now. But I tell you, I will attribute the results that we have here for a constant focus by the board and leadership and teachers in the district over the last 5 years on our mission, and the great work by all of those employees and staff and parents to build trust back with the community and really provide an outstanding educational experience for students. So I want to talk a little bit about who Eden Prairie Schools is. We're a district with a really strong reputation of excellence. Our mission is to inspire each student to learn continuously so they're empowered to reach personal fulfillment and contribute purposefully to our ever-changing world. Kids come to us from really a wide and varying background and experience. It's one of our strengths as a district. It makes us really unique. We're committed to meeting each of the needs of those students and providing opportunities that support them for their success. We're developing not just academics, but we're developing human beings, teaching them to be good people in our classrooms, hallways, the football field, debate team, theater, outside of our doors. This is why college admissions staff often report back to our high school principal, Con McCartan, that they appreciate Eden Prairie School kids because they're not only smart and really well prepared academically, but they know how to get along with people. They know how to get along with kids in their dorms. They know how to be successful. We just heard Pat talk about those soft skills that are being looked for, and as a district, we've really been on a journey to continue to promote those skills and 21st century skills that are gonna set up our kids for success. So they're prepared to learn, work well in teams, work well with each other. This is our story. And we work at this each and every day. It's really a powerful thing to watch, and I get to traverse our schools and be in and out of classrooms on a regular basis and see this happen. Today, I want to give you just a short glimpse of what this looks like as we see 4 of our typical Eden Prairie School students and recent graduates talk about what's inspired them.
I've had many teachers here who have inspired me.
That's what makes Eden Prairie as awesome as it is.
I definitely feel like I've taken advantage of what Eden Prairie has to offer.
There's so many things that we can change in this world, but the change should start with your heart.
I do better when I am busy. I have played sports for the high school. I am involved in various different clubs. My favorite part of everything that I'm involved with is just helping other people, and everything about it has changed my outlook on how I view the world around me. I've had many teachers here who have inspired me to move forward with my education, but learning more than just what's in the classroom and what's in a textbook.
What else is on your travel list? Where else do you want to go? Sydney is this amazing kid. She's an absolute role model. It's really easy to try to be inspiring when the kids inspire me so much every day.
I think Eden Prairie is a great place to grow up in. It was immediately a family for me.
I've been a student at Eden Prairie from kindergarten up through 12th grade. So all of the teachers that I've had have been really awesome, helping me find my passion and helping challenge me academically. One of the biggest things that really differentiates Eden Prairie is all the different student clubs and organizations, Quiz Bowl, math team, youth in government. Maybe other people see me as a sort of academically excellent person, and that's something to strive for sure, but it's not everything there is in life. Because I'm surrounded with both students and adults who dedicate their lives to helping others, I really like the feeling of just making a difference in the world. It's what's inspired me to keep challenging myself. It depends on how you define successful, obviously, but I think I'm going to be happy in whatever path I take.
I definitely feel like I've taken advantage of what Eden Prairie has to offer. It's not like a teacher is just here teaching you what needs to be taught to graduate. They're here to try to help you find what your passion is. My business teacher, he saw something in me that was a drive to go into law school or finance, and he kept pushing me to do more and do extra. Here you're getting to meet people from different backgrounds and different passions and get to see their point of view. I really enjoy just being with people and the people aspect behind business. It's definitely opened up my mindset. Seeing through those business classes like the different variety of business that like pushed me towards what I'm now majoring in college. As much as I love Eden Prairie, I feel like as soon as I get to college I'll notice how privileged I was, and I'm glad I'm here.
I came to Eden Prairie when I was 6th grade. In my country, there was only one culture, one religion, one race, and one language. So when I came here, it was hard. Like, I didn't even know how to spell my own name. That was how weird it was. You go through things to teach you a lesson and to gain something from it.
Yeah.
My little brother has a special need, and he's one of the people who inspired me the most. He helped me learn that in many ways we're all the same, and our differences is what makes us better people. And Eden Prairie gives that chance to anybody who's willing to try.
Even though I have learned a lot in Eden Prairie schools, one of the things that plays an important role in my life today is trying to be kind. There are so many things that we can change in this world, but the change should start with your heart. Fill it with kindness, appreciate differences, make the world a better place.
I am so incredibly proud to be a part of an organization that does that. Education in Eden Prairie Schools is more than just teaching. It's about inspiring each student to learn and igniting their individual passions, talents, and gifts. This starts by our staff getting to know each student and their families, not only by name, but their strengths, passions, interests, and needs, and then tapping into those talents to ignite that. This is our mission and our promise to our students and our families in our schools on a daily basis. A few years ago, the community made a significant investment into our work, into lowering class sizes at kindergarten and grade 1 through our referendum in 2014. And we've really worked hard with that investment to do that. We lowered kindergarten and first grade class sizes with support from the board, and then we've followed up and lowered second grade class sizes in 2016 and third grade class sizes this year in 2017. We currently have the smallest class sizes of any of the districts around us here in kindergarten through second grade. And that allows our staff to really work with students when they're building those foundational skills to take advantage of all the wonderful opportunities in our school system. And so I want to thank the community for that support as we work to reach each of our students. Students here find their strengths and passions. Eden Prairie Schools opens the doors to endless opportunities for students. We offer the largest variety of academic, athletic, and artistic options in the state. And Mike Grant, our activities director, would argue that's maybe in the nation. Our students develop life skills. Not only are they incredibly smart, but they also take advantage of those opportunities while they're here with us that really help set them up for success in their future. You're going to see a series of images here flash up on the screen. If we want to have students really be inspired, we need to find different ways for them to find their passions, to explore things, and to see different things that they might not be aware of. Inside of our schools, we have students doing real learning with aquaponics and learning about systems and combining science and math and language arts and social skills inside of those real life opportunities. We have wonderful outdoor classroom opportunities. I was in a 7th grade class using Google Expedition. For those of you who may know a little bit about me, I spent a lot of time hiking and climbing in the mountains. I got to take a trip to Mount Everest with our students through Google Expedition and using goggles. You'll see those as the slides roll by. You'll see arts and drama, music, pottery, graphic arts. You'll see 3D printing. You'll see lots of robotics opportunities, from using little Ozobots to Spheros to Dashbots. You'll see students learning about circuits. We have the career fair that's been supported by the Chamber. We have epic programming during the summer to really ignite passions and interest through summer camp opportunities for our students. We have support from Rotary with My Book Day to really inspire students to read. We have Test Drive, which is a partnership that helps students be able to explore what does it look like to do a budget and work with my education and finances as I exit maybe my post-secondary education. We have students explore languages, and we have students developing 21st century skills on a daily basis. And I will tell you, all of those opportunities to find passions and interests, they result in amazing accomplishments. This year we've got a couple of just kind of big highlights that are just really recent. We've won a few football championships, and we did that again this year by winning the Class 6A Minnesota State High School League Championship. And we've won a record 11 big school titles. We just found out that our Eden Prairie First Lego League, named Team Curiosity, will go on to the state tournament after just winning regionals last weekend. Our band has done an amazing job. They were second place in the state Class 4A championship and grand championship at the Youth in Music Band at US Bank Stadium. And really fun if you're looking for an opportunity. They were selected to play at the Super Bowl Experience on January 31st at the Convention Center and Super Bowl Live. And so if you have a chance, it's a great opportunity to go check them out. We just had our Palm Squad that received first place in this last competition, Spirit of America competition, and they're actually headed to Florida in a couple weeks for the national dance competition. And so we have students doing amazing things in different areas. This year, the class of 2018 posted 12 perfect ACT scores to date. Less than 0.1% of all test takers are in this top score. And since 2011, Eden Prairie School has had at least one post a perfect score each year. When I talk to my colleagues of big, high-performing school districts, most are elated to have one perfect score out of their district. We have 12 this year. We have 2 high school seniors this year that were named the Minnesota State AP Scholars, Nibir Sarma and Amy Wang. There are only 2 AP Scholars named each year. Both of them are from Eden Prairie High School. If you look back over the last 10 years, there have been 20 AP Scholars named for the state. 14 of them are from Eden Prairie High School. We have 2 Eden Prairie High School students, Avni Jain and Charlotte Johnson, who received the 2017 Target Women in Science and Technology, or TWIST, EPIC Award. And this award honors 25 young women in the Twin Cities for their dedications to science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, often referenced as STEM. Those results and those opportunities really prepare students for a successful future. We're working to help prepare students to fulfill their dreams beyond our doors. Whether it means like Yarub from the video learning English and then ending up as one of our high school commencement speakers, or others like Philip who's entering into a career in business law and venture capitalism to do good for other people. In Eden Prairie schools, we send more students, a higher percentage of students to college than anyone else in the state from a district like ours. And we've held that title for 4 to 5 years. And even more importantly, when they go off to college, they're successful. Students are provided countless opportunities here to discover what they're interested in, and we help guide them to get to that next step. Our partnership with the Chamber has helped expose students to a lot of different careers and be able to explore that. Through the Eden Prairie High School and Chamber partnership, we hosted another successful career expo this year that Pat highlighted, with nearly 50 businesses attending to help students gain knowledge, networking skills, and discover future job opportunities. With any highly successful organization, innovation and continuous improvement is absolutely key to success and survival. Schools are no different. The workforce is demanding skills that will not only require kids to be smart, but also that they're great communicators, they're critical thinkers, they collaborate, and they think creatively. We call these the 4 C's in our district, and we'll talk about those a lot. In 2015-2016, we started a process called Designing Pathways. Designing Pathways was really put together to create a 10-year academic vision for the district. And we began with extensive engagement with the community to hear about what we want that experience to look like for our students, so we can remain one of the absolute top school districts in the state and continue to provide amazing experiences for students and families that we serve. The Designing Pathways process identified a variety of different solutions to address this challenge and continue to help us innovate. This year, we're moving several of those academic vision ideas forward. We're working on developing online learning, starting at the high school level, that will be available in fall of 2018. And so we have teams that are working on planning and piloting and setting that up. We have students here through internship programs, and we've heard about how valuable that is for students to get real life experience. We're working on continuing to develop and expand capstone opportunities where our students can get real life authentic experiences out in the community and demonstrate what they know and they can do, not just from a textbook, but in a real world situation, which serves very useful as they look at either selective colleges or looking at careers post high school. We're continuing to expand personalized learning, which really looks at how do we connect and ignite those passions and inspire students. And we're looking at some of our existing spaces on how those can support personalized learning in our schools for our students. We look forward as we move through the next few years to continue to move those academic recommendations forward that were developed during the Designing Pathways process. One of those recommendations that did come forward was a grade configuration change. And I so appreciate the conversation we've been having and I've been having with the board to consider what we're looking at with grade level configurations. In August, the board asked for additional information, and I think it was the right thing to do as we continue to work really collaboratively to make sure the decisions that are made around grade level configuration that would impact facilities are in the best interest of students, the district, and the community for the long term and the long run. The grade level configuration changes that were proposed were to connect our early childhood programming into our elementary schools, and then to move 6th grade to our middle school setting, because the design team came forward and said this is the experience we want students to have in that extended middle school process. The board right now is going to be going back out with us to gather further information from the community about that proposal, and then we'll deliberate and they'll make careful decisions as we go forward. I want to talk just briefly about our partnerships as we're here partnering together to share our states of the district. But this isn't a one-day event for us. I mentioned earlier that I serve on the board and connect with Rick on a regular basis. In fact, the City Council and School Board are having a joint meeting coming up here in just a couple weeks. We also have been partnering with businesses. We actually have been working with the Optum Innovation team this year with lots of staff to empower staff to continue to innovate inside of our district. We love the partnership we have with our Royal Credit Union, that we run the Perch, or a credit union inside of our high school where students run it so that they get real learning and real authentic learning opportunities. We have volunteers from businesses in the community that work throughout our schools and our programs. We love the work we do with FEPS, Rotary, the Community Foundation. We have MTS and Emerson, which have been helping us with robotics, automation, and providing expertise through volunteers. Our teacher development, or our talent development mentor program, has allowed students to partner and learn from clinics, hospitals, businesses, both public and private practices in the legal and medical fields, and provide real hands-on learning for our students. The last thing that I want to point out here before I wrap up is that along with all that, we do need to fund this to be able to make sure that it's a long-term viable thing and we provide absolutely the best services to our kids. I want to thank the community for that support that took place back in 14-15 with our operating referendum. We promised that we would continue to look for efficiencies and that support and that vote would carry us for 5 years without having to make budget reductions. I'm happy to report that our latest 5-year financial forecast shows that support from the community will provide up to 7 years of financial stability for the district, which is absolutely great news. I've talked a lot about the amazing opportunities that our kids have and the support of the community. And for all of that, our Eden Prairie homeowners, our average homeowners, pay less than almost all of our neighbors in property taxes to the school, which is also great news. So the state of the district has really never been better. I'm honored to serve as a superintendent, and I truly want to thank the city and the chamber, businesses, community, organizations, and the support all of you provide to truly make this district an amazing place that inspires students every day.
I'm good. All right. So I have been the Eden Prairie City Manager for almost coming on 7 years now. Yes, I've been a 48-year Packer fan. That's true. But I will say that the professional rises above the personal. So I've got some purple on, and I'm going to say as well, if you guys were here last year, we unveiled our new water tower, and this group got to pick what the first color of the water tower was going to be. And you don't get to do that today because tomorrow the water tower will be purple. So we'll have a purple water tower. So I can rise above that, Pat. I'm not wearing those socks, though. I'm going to tell you that right now. I've got the Minnesota socks, but I'm not doing the Viking socks. All right, so the other day I was playing Monopoly with my 11-year-old daughter. I crushed her. Great game. First time she ever played, I was awesome, and I thought, you know what? When I'm going to do the State of the City address and I'm going to talk a little bit about what's happening in Eden Prairie, let's play Monopoly. So I thought if you guys could humor me for about 20 minutes, we're going to play Monopoly. Dave's the banker. I've got the dice. I'm going to start out with some cash right here. I got some cash because as we go around Eden Prairie, we got a lot of different places that we're going to hit. And I've got a lot of money I want to spend in a lot of different locations. So my first roll takes me to Riley Lake Park. Well, that's something I definitely want to buy, Dave. Here, I'm going to give you some money for Riley Lake Park. If an update on Riley Lake Park, if you guys have not been there, we've done quite a bit of work down there this past year. In 2017, it was the first phase of our master redesign. We've completely reconfigured and added to the boat trailer parking area down there. A lot easier to get around, more parking stalls as well. We've added additional features by expanding the beach, constructing designated picnic areas, and adding new seating along the lakeshore. So be sure to head down there this spring because that's going to be wrapping up and it's an awesome addition to our park system. So I'm going to have a few more slides about parks as well, but this is a great piece right here. So as we're sitting on Riley Lake Park, I noticed I can't roll a 1 in Monopoly. So I'm not going to be able to land on Southwest Light Rail, which is fine with me because I've talked about it for the last 6 or 7 years. But just a quick update. From our perspective and the city's perspective, what we know is the project is still continuing along. Bids are expected to be opened in May. If the project continues, construction would be the end of this year, that would begin, and the train should be running in 2023. My gut tells me, I think I stood up here in 2013 and said the train's going to be running in 2019. I'm just the messenger. I'm just the messenger. But either way, I rolled a 3. I rolled a 3. That was quick. I was quick with the dice, and I got us to fire station number 2. Fire station number 2. Now, you're probably going to assume I'm going to talk about our top-notch, high-quality, awesome fire department, which they are. A department that for the last 15 years plus, I believe, has been recognized by the state fire marshal for 0 fire deaths in the city of Eden Prairie. So that's pretty awesome. That's something to hang our hat on. But I'm not. I'm going to talk about a sustainability project that just got rolled out at Fire Station 2. I've got a little bit of theme of sustainability here, but we've got a new project. It's actually, you can check it out, check it out on the way out of here. It through a grant from the Met Council in the Riley Purgatory Bluff Creek Watershed District, we're able to capture all the water that lands on the roof and then harvest that to clean all the fire apparatus, the fire trucks. At the same time, we're using it to irrigate that area, and we're creating a pretty big native landscaping and pollinator habitat. So it's also, a big education program as well, not just reusing the water, but also showing how throughout Eden Prairie, and we're doing this in a lot of areas, creating these natural habitats. And in some areas, I could say, in some of our park areas, it's saving on the need to mow, saving on fuel. It takes some time for these areas to grow, so if you maybe drove by in the fall or you go by in the early spring, you're gonna think maybe it's a little bit ugly, but it takes time for these natural habitats to grow. But it's something that we're proud of, and it's a demonstration project. So be sure to check that out. So as my dog moves along the board, community center. Well, I definitely want to pay my dues to the community center as a member of the community center, and I've got the community center card right here. And again, if you've been to a few of these presentations in previous years, we've had some excellent additions at the community center, the aquatics edition and some other updates. But what I want to mention is a large solar installation that'll be coming to the Eden Prairie Community Center. Not just the solar installation. What we're looking at doing is creating a community garden, a community solar garden, one in which, if you're a resident of Eden Prairie or a bill payer in Eden Prairie, so XL being a sponsor, this is very fitting, you can sign up for a solar garden subscription through the city. This is coming out in 2018, 2019. And by subscribing, it's estimated that as a resident and a participant, you would immediately save 4 to 5% on your own bill. So maybe you've been pitched on or heard about some of these solar gardens in neighboring communities that you have signed up for. Next year, we're going to have one of our own in Eden Prairie. And I'd go on to say, too, that we're looking at solar installations on most of our city facilities as well. This is the one that would be the community solar garden, but we're looking at solar installations in other community areas as well. So I've still got some money to spend here and some properties to acquire. So as I roll chance, let's grab a chance card. Uh-oh. Go to jail. Go directly to jail. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. But I've been to the Eden Prairie Jail, and it's not that bad of a place. You can head down there on the citywide open house if you want to visit the jail. But when it comes to the police department, one thing that I want to mention, a lot of the good programs that we're working on when you think about the PD in Eden Prairie is the opioid epidemic and crisis is something that's affected everybody throughout the country. And there's a lot of different pronged approaches that we're taking in Eden Prairie, and the police are to combat that. One of the new things that you're going to hear about this year is a recovery assistance program where the city's looking for grant and other outside dollars that we're acquiring to actually intervene with those people that maybe have an opioid issue and they haven't, there's an issue of graduating to heroin, Then the next thing you know, you get heroin that may have some fentanyl, and our police department has been very proactive in dealing with that. In fact, we're one of the first cities to prosecute and put away for a very long time dealers of heroin, the dealer themselves on murder charges. But in this case, this is the piece where we want to help those that may be in need and maybe help. So we're going to provide some scholarship dollars to those that may need some recovery assistance when they're early on in any dependency issue that may have. So that's a police item that I wanted to touch upon. As we continue to move around the board, I didn't mention this, so I had to tell my daughter about this. If you want to get out of jail, you got to have a get out of jail free card, which I don't, or you got to roll doubles. So luckily you missed this. I just rolled double fours. So I roll an 8. So now we're going to Cedar Hills Park. Cedar Hills Park, you may not be completely familiar with, like Round Lake, Starring Lake, and other parks, is the last of our neighborhood parks that was constructed this past year. So if you head down Eden Prairie Road, south of Pioneer Trail, past Grace Church on the right, you're going to see probably the last major park constructed in a fully developed Eden Prairie. So this is 30 acres, and maybe only 2 or 3 of the acres are fully developed with basketball courts, open field, and parking. But there's another 20 plus acres of paved trails, natural trails that everybody can use. So be sure to check that out as well. So I'm not going to buy any parkland. I'm not that foolish to pay for. It's not for sale. It's not parks, not for sale. So as we keep going, we head over to my next roll takes me to. I rolled a 7. It takes me to TC&W Railroad. TC&W Railroad is one of our main railroads at Eden Prairie, and Josh talked a lot about the partnership with the city and the school and the government as well. So we were able to work with our state legislator, Representative Loon here, Senator Swedzinski. We're able to bring some state dollars to the city of Eden Prairie to create some railroad quiet zones in Eden Prairie. So if you live anywhere near Valley View Road, Birch Island Road, and West 62nd Street in Eden Prairie, and it's the middle of the evening and the train's coming through those intersections, it needs to blow its horn. But if you're able to put in some improvements that the railroad would put in, but the railroad would not fund, it takes away the need to blow the horn. So as a quality of life issue, we were able to get some state bonding dollars, and this year we're going to create these quiet zones where the train horn doesn't need to blow. And in addition to that, we're going to make an improvement partnering with the school in the railroad with the parking lot at the high school that takes you into the neighborhood to the north where kids are crossing over those railroad tracks quite a bit and have created a cow path. We're going to put in an improved crossing for safety reasons. So that's coming in the near future as well. But as we go around the board, I think it's time that I see some spaces that we might want to hit that are development related. I see we're heading down to Pioneer Trail. We all know Pioneer Trail, a project that I talked about last year that received its approval and that will be constructed this year is Prairie Bluff Senior Housing Project. And if you're not familiar, this is a 138 unit senior housing project that's going to be built near Pioneer Trail and 169 with 1% of the units that are affordable. So the building's going to include not only the independent units, but memory care units and assisted living units. And that will be under construction very soon. And while not on Pioneer Trail, less than 48 hours ago, the City Council approved another senior housing project on Tuesday night. And this is the Southview of Eden Prairie Senior Housing Project at Prairie Center Drive in Franlow. If you're not aware, if you think about that area where the Applebee's is and then the retail, and then you get to Franlow and then there's the library, which by the way, I don't have the slide in here, but the library is going to be closing for renovation at the end of the year. So that's my plug for Hennepin County, but it's going to be a great update. There's a parcel of land between those two, and that's where this project will be going in 2018. And that's a 5-story, 116 unit senior residence as well. So there's a demand. There's a demand for senior housing. I don't have to look at this table and realize that there's a demand for senior housing. See, Dean, every year I got to get you, buddy. Every year I got to get you. But this, yeah. But there are a lot of amenities here as well, similar to Summit Place, similar to the other constructed facility. We're theater, fitness center, library, salon, patio area, outdoor seating area, fire pit, grilling area, water feature. So this is brand new news. This is coming, and there's a demand for that. So as we move around the board and kind of keeping with the development theme, I take us to Southwest Station. And I think most of you are familiar with the major transit-oriented development project that's occurring there. And a lot of time was spent in 2017 working on approvals for this project as well. We have the nice addition with the shops at Southwest Station, so that's been excellent. We have our friends at Southwest Transit that operate out of there as well. But this mixed-use project is 222 kind of market rate, not senior, apartment units with over 13,000 square feet of retail that'll be coming in. And the idea is that the 13,000 square feet of retail will be restaurant space, sit-down restaurant space as well. But there's a mix of studio units, one-bedroom units, two-bedroom units, and even two-story penthouses, Josh. Yeah, two-story penthouses. So there are going to be a lot of amenities with this project as well. Including a rooftop lounge, a spa, outdoor kitchen fitness center, even the ability for dogs to be able to get around as well. So we're looking forward to that.
Can seniors live there?
If you can't get into the other two places, Kurt, I'm sure they'll take you here. Absolutely, absolutely. Ooh, I just took a big roll there, and I landed on the tax. Property tax. Okay, I gotta pay up here a little bit. Josh talked about this as well, and luckily I have some slides to match. Josh, we didn't do this together, but we've got some slides to match each other. That if you look at the city tax and you look at some of our peer cities out there, that the city tax is very competitive in the lower 15% of similar communities. So it's that concept of the city and the school providing that value to our residents at a fair price. And if you just take a quick look, maybe you can't see this, but if you look at property taxes coming up next year, if you own a median valued home in Eden Prairie, your median valued home increased in value from $363,000 to $378,000. That's what your value went up. And the city would ask, actually total taxes would be about $140 with all districts. I can only take responsibility for the city taxes, so I'm going to pay the $44 more in taxes that median valued home would pay. But I do want to mention with commercial taxes as well, for the last 3 years, a $2 million commercial property in Eden Prairie would see a reduction in taxes. This year, it looks to be a little less than a 1% increase. That's still $76 on about $8,000 of city taxes for a commercial property. So it's very, very important that we always keep our eye on the ball in terms of taxes and services as well. So I'm not out of money after paying my taxes, but I really do need to get across Go and collect $200. But before I do that, I'll land at the Eden Prairie Center right before we pass Go. I'm not going to get too much into Shields. Pat talked about that, 240,000 square feet, a draw from, I would argue, what did you say, 150 miles of the area. So that's pretty awesome. In addition to that, there is other land coming up for future development, whether it be on the Element campus, Winter Park, which we talked about. Hampton Inn is looking at going on the IHOP site. If I go back, we're looking very closely. We have a distillery in Eden Prairie. I talked about that last year. We're also close to bringing in a tap room. I don't think we can publicly say where they are looking, but there's a certain property in Eden Prairie in the town center area where we're looking at a tap room coming in. So look for something along those lines. But there's a lot of redevelopment opportunity in the community. And when it comes to development, right now, we're in the process of updating our 30-year comprehensive land use plan at Eden Prairie. It's called Aspire Eden Prairie 2040. So we've been taking feedback throughout the year when it comes to housing, transportation, land use development. And we're going to continue to do that throughout the coming year. We've done a lot on our website. We've had a lot of focus groups. And we're going to be getting ready to bring some of those draft chapters and ideas out to the community in 2018. So please engage in that. I know we're going to work with the school and the chamber. Well, I've got to get around Go, and I did. I made it around Go. I collect $200. I made it to the electric utility. So a shout out to Xcel Energy. One of the last projects I'm going to talk about is a smart meter pilot program. And we, Eden Prairie, are only one of 2 areas, Midtown Minneapolis and the southwest part of Eden Prairie, that are being asked to pilot a time of use project where approximately 17,000 residents will be able to purchase an advanced Xcel Energy meter, which tracks energy at 15-minute increments and will offer the cost of energy at an off-peak and on-peak price. And over time, that'll allow residents to save on energy. And this is a pilot project that I don't think Xcel has approved yet, but they're looking to bring that to Eden Prairie, and it's just another possibility in our toolbox of sustainable Eden Prairie projects. So as I make my last few rolls, as I run out of time, we know we love to play Monopoly all afternoon, but we have to get back to work, right? My last roll takes me to the community chest. And as I land on community chest, I find out that, lo and behold, I've won a city street sign with my own street's name on it. And I just want to mention that our city has had a pretty neat fundraiser over the last couple of years where we're required by federal law to replace all of our street signs that are larger, more readable, with better reflectivity. But believe it or not, when we thought, what are we going to do with all these old street signs? When we put on the internet, old city street signs for sale, $30, we've sold like almost $20,000 worth of street signs that people want associated with their own property. And we're going to take that money and put that back into some heritage preservation projects in Eden Prairie, one of which is my personal favorite one. If you guys remember the Flying Red Horse, we are in possession of the Flying Red Horse, but it needs a lot of work to be lit up and moving again. So my push with the city council would be to put some of that money toward getting the Flying Red Horse up and about in Eden Prairie. So if you guys can help me push that, we'll get that done. But as I wrap up, I want to echo what had been said earlier, and that is that what makes a community is the businesses and the residents and the school district. And as a city, we're just trying to deliver a high quality of services, not screw too much up, and make this a great place to live and work and dream. So I appreciate you probably staying a little bit past 1. I think I went through as quick as I could. I skipped the water tank, but that's because you know it's going to be purple. But if Josh and Pat could come up, we do have a couple giveaways, if you guys are interested. So maybe here's how we'll do it. So I've got Pioneer Trail, and I've got Gulfview Drive. So does anybody live within maybe a mile of either one of these streets? Okay, all right. What about you?
Pioneer Trail.
She was the first hand up. Now you're good with this. You would want this. You would want to hang this in your living room, right? Maybe the basement. That's so much. That's all yours. Yes. Anybody near Gulfview Drive? Are you saying goodbye to him, or are you saying I want Gulfview Drive? Okay. Well, you know what? Maybe this can go in the wings in the north. We can put this in the wings on the north. There you go. Thank you. One thing I missed, I'm sorry, I wanted to get up and thank the city officials that are here as well. I forgot to mention that. So if you could stand up, Dave, and we've got some folks back in communications. We've got some city people here, so sorry about that, but I'm done.
All right.
Thanks. Yeah.
Well, thank you all for staying. Yes. Great job. A big thank you to Rick and to Josh, not only for their presentations, but for your team and your employees who just help make Eden Prairie a great community. And we appreciate all the work that you do and they do on our behalf. With that, I'll adjourn our meeting. Thank you for coming here. Enjoy your afternoon, and skål.